Hey, you guys, join us July 9th for Cocktails and Confidence at the Hurrdat Sports Grill in La Vista.
You guys, you're going to want to be there because it's not just Amy and I teaching you about confidence, but we have a special guest. You're going to have to come see who it is. We might even have two, but for sure we have one showstopper. And then we have a very special someone that you all really love that is going to be doing the introductions that night. So click the link below in the show notes. You're going to find out where it is, how much it is, and we're going to see you at Cocktails and Confidence.
And there's some great mixology going on. There are going to be some great cocktails. You will not want to miss it.
And mocktails for those of you that want that as well.
Yes.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Meet Me in the Penthouse. And I'm so excited for this guest because I met her about 6 months ago at a dinner event and I went alone. You guys, this is such good confirmation of, okay, let's be honest. I have a sister, so I love to go everywhere with my sister, and my sister was unavailable. And then the event sold out. So I was left to go alone. And I walked in and I had just been at a optimization and longevity 3-day event in San Diego, and the first person I meet is Rachel Swim, Dr. Rachel Swim, I should say.
Yay!
It
was meant to be.
It was because like within 2 seconds, I find out not only are you an OB-GYN, but the biggest thing, I think even cooler than that, is a degree in culinary medicine. That is so incredibly cool. But let's just have you introduce yourself, tell our audience who you are, a little bit about yourself, and we're going to jump right into that whole culinary medicine because I have so many friends that are waiting for more of this. They're like, you have to find out, what is she doing with it? You're like, I don't know. I'm going to tell you. So tell us a little bit about you, Rachel.
Okay, yeah, I'm Rachel Swim. I was born and raised here in Omaha, which has changed so much. And I love it for the fact that you can connect with amazing people. It's not too big. It's not too small. I grew up as an only child, but my mom's one of 9 and my dad's one of 6. So
I forgot
just
that.
a great big family, lots of cousins. So although I don't have a fabulous full-blooded sister, I have so many great just friends and family that have supported me through the thick and thin of everything. So I moved around just a little bit for training and school, but it was, between Lincoln, Kansas City, Lincoln, and then I ended up back here in Omaha, which has been a blessing. Like timing is everything, just like that dinner. So I'm an OB-GYN, and do we want to get into the path of also culinary medicine?
Yes.
I love what I do. I really, really do. And it's just interesting how life evolves, what grabs your attention and what ignites you a little bit. And it's a difference between what I should be doing and what I want to be doing. And I should be doing what I'm currently, but I want to add a little bit. So I was listening to a book because let's face it, it's hard to sit down and have time and read a book, although I like to feel a book, but
let me guess, you were exercising while you were listening to it, or doing something like that. That's why you were so fabulous.
Doing chores or definitely working out and listening to a book. So the Galveston diet is specific to perimenopause and menopause, and it's just interesting that was kind of an introduction, but before that, I was in our doctor's lounge and someone was like, have you read Fiber Fueled? And I'm like, no, let's read it. And so it was written by a GI doctor. And a lot of it was actually over my head, on the biochemistry level, but so much of it wasn't over my head. And probably for a lot of people who aren't in medicine. And that was kind of the first time that I'm like, wow, our gut biome is the secret. Well, and it shouldn't be a secret though, but it is the powerhouse of our body, and we need to know how to treat it and feed it. And so that really opened my eyes to oh my gosh. And the GI doctor in that book was like, we're not trained on this, and it's by no fault of education.
That crazy? You would think like that's exactly who's trained on it of anybody.
Yes, the GI of anybody. And he's like, I wasn't even like, trained on this.
Because let's just back up. How much education do you get in medical school on nutrition? An hour? More than that? I mean, in physical therapy school it was 30 seconds. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much.
Right.
But it's, I think it's assumed we know our food pyramid, which that's
agree.
changed.
That's the biggest
thing. And it's eat healthy, but it's more so, this is here already. How do we treat it?
Right.
That's what in medical school.
And how long had you been out practicing when you read the fiber book? When you was it not anything you'd ever known about gut microbiome, or is that was it?
Maybe we talked about bacteria in our gut, but I'm not sure that even at that time we really knew the impact of what the gut biome does, but then the connection to foods and prevention and the timing of when this is really important. So again, there's only so much time that you have to learn things. Right. So, beyond disease and how our body works and how to treat or even prevent, there is just time is unfortunately, I don't think, dedicated. But there's a lot of things, even in my field, I have to choose to know more about. I have to choose to know about sexual medicine. I have to choose to know about certain components within my field better and better.
And delivering babies. I mean, on top of that,
so it's just kind of what you choose to give a little bit more attention to, but that also comes with nobody starts out with 100% of everything, right? So,
okay, this is good. Good tip from Dr. Rachel Swim. Nobody starts out with 100% of everything.
Yeah. It's a work in progress.
That is a great quote.
So I have to ask you, were you searching? It sounds like you said, I would love to do, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but I would love to do...
what I really want, but you don't know.
Did you kind of stumble? Was there an event in your life?
Yes,
was there something you were looking for?
There was definitely an event. So after I listened to this fiber fueled, it just kind of got me interested. So then things happened kind of at the same time, I would say, looking back. Then I read about the Galveston diet because somebody mentioned, it's really good for perimenopause and menopause. And I'm like, let me listen to this and check it out before I recommend it.
Because you're in that stage, or just because of the women you serve?
I was like, this fiber fueled really, really opened my eyes. And so if we can use food to optimize where we're at and for perimenopause and menopause, then let's check that out and see if it fits. So Galveston diet was very similar to fiber fueled in that it made sense. It wasn't a fad diet. So, at a similar time then in my clinic, I was starting to feel a little frustrated. Who hasn't had that? Yes. And this is why, because there were fad diets being presented to me and maybe even being marketed by other professionals. And I'm just like, I don't agree with this for everybody, right? Everyone's different. Yes. Or maybe even for a certain time frame. Maybe what works for you is different for 3 months than works for someone else for 2 years.
Right.
So I was getting frustrated because I'm like, gosh, I don't agree with what this patient is bringing to me or what someone else is advertising, but I'm not sure that I have the game behind me to say why. And
that is brilliant. I mean, I know my OB-GYN, well, Amy and I have the same, and I absolutely adore him. But the fact that you were like, well, I don't know about that, or questioning it, or just even to have the capacity in the life of an OB-GYN. I mean, it's like you were on sleep deprived all the time. We only knew moms for a short time, but you live like that all the time. So the fact that you were like, okay, there's something here. I need to look at this. Yeah. I need to dig in further.
Yeah. And kind of, why am I getting frustrated? And
it wasn't you. You didn't have a personal experience. It wasn't like you were having gut issues or not that you knew
not
of.
At all. And then the other thing was, and there's a lot of information that's given to everyone else, right? It's like, come to this clinic and get, your hormones checked, which I'm not against. I check hormones too. But then when people come to me and they're like, I feel X, Y, and Z, insert negative term, and I want my hormones checked. And then I say, okay, can I ask about your diet, exercise, and sleep? Let's be real. We don't want advice when we don't ask for it. And sometimes we don't want advice when we do. And so simultaneously, I'm listening to the Galveston diet and I hear this term, culinary medicine. And something in me, I just stopped and I'm like, what is culinary medicine? It is this sparkly term that just, So I looked it up and I'm like, I can get certified in culinary medicine. And I just learned, or, I briefly read about it and I learned enough about it. And I'm like, this is what I need. I want something to back me up. So people come to me wanting to hear the full package. I am not against any of this. I'm not against diets. I'm not against hormones, all of that. I do it all and I support it, but not everyone. And we have to kind of take a look at what are we doing in our life?
Yes. So was this something that impacted you? Were you kind of going through some things that made you question,
what am I doing?
What am I doing? Or,
Yeah, it was I shouldn't feel this frustrated doing my job that I love. And I'm not in the position to fully help my patients, and I need more information to do that. And then it just presented itself, and I'm like, this is it. It
was in your gut. It was in your gut.
Totally
You're
in my gut.
Speaking of gut health, but it was in my gut.
Yeah.
And I always love saying, what we do in our coaching is we help women make decisions. And that's exactly what you did. Not that we've coached with you, but just that I made a decision, burning desire. Here we go. This is what we're going to do. And it has been a cool deep dive. And it's been a lot of time.
Yeah. I mean, I'll officially be certified this year. But I'm doing all the training. And what's really interesting too is our programming happens in utero, which is when you're pregnant, or inside your mom's
I hope
uterus.
Our producer is listening, Dylan. In utero, you got a few weeks left to tell your wife this.
Yes, and the first 2 years of life. And I'm like, what better position am I in women's health to be preventative, to take care of pregnant women, and to not be I'm not a pediatrician either, but to have that impact in those early stages. And I'm in that position, although anybody could spread this message and help. You don't have to be an OB-GYN. You don't have to be a woman. You don't have to be pregnant,
right.
It's just a message for absolutely everybody.
Okay. So I was excited because my husband and I love to cook. My husband is far better than I am. I love to grocery shop. I would do that as a job. I love to be in the I love to look at labels.
Yeah.
I want to feel my own avocados. I don't want them delivered.
Sure.
I know we share that same passion. And I thought, is it a cooking class? Because so many people have asked me. I'm like, okay, explain
what is culinary medicine?
Yes. And what's the little initials you get behind your name?
It's CCME. I'll have to verify
cool.
that.
I love that. I'm
hold on. I would need notes in front of me, so I'll have that next time.
And what do you see it being for you?
So, okay, what is culinary medicine?
Hey, you guys, join us July 9th for Cocktails and Confidence at the Hurrdat Sports Grill in La Vista.
You guys, you're going to want to be there because it's not just Amy and I teaching you about confidence, but we have a special guest. You're going to have to come see who it is. We might even have two, but for sure we have one showstopper. And then we have a very special someone that you all really love that is going to be doing the introductions that night. So click the link below in the show notes. You're going to find out where it is, how much it is, and we're going to see you at Cocktails and Confidence.
And there's some great mixology going on. There are going to be some great cocktails. You will not want to miss it.
And mocktails for those of you that want that as well.
Yes.
It's from a quote, right? Food is thy medicine. Let thy medicine be thy food. But what specifically culinary medicine is meeting people where they're at. So we can't forget that there's cultural preferences. And to educate on what is healthy eating, but how to get it in your body, because how we store food and how we prepare food actually can change the components. We can make things healthier. We can make things less healthy by just the way they're stored and the way that we cook or prepare them. But what is difficult for all of us, whether it's go pray or go work out or go be happy or go eat healthy, is you're like, yeah, good idea. And then you walk away and you're like, now what?
Yeah, what does that mean?
So what this program does is it teaches culinary skills. So like, I don't know where this is going. I'm going to give that one up to God, but it is educating on like specific foods, and you can make it really specific based off of a condition, whether it's already present or you're preventing. But it's also teaching people how to cook. So a lot of places around the nation already, like I hope that this catches fire in a good way here. And I would love to pilot it.
Yes.
But so obviously it takes a team. So I'm going to hope that team comes together at some point. But so maybe my role is to educate on that, like the science or the medicine part of the food and the health, but there needs to be someone ideally to help cook or help show people how to cook. So like part of this program is cooking, and we learn food safety and like how to safely sharpen a knife and what knives and cutting boards and food safety and all these things. So if I can do it, you can do it.
Oh my gosh. I love, okay. So let's say that we have someone autoimmune, because autoimmune is so big out there right now. A lot of Hashimoto's, let's say, or whatever you see autoimmune. Would that have a protocol? Like, oh, you have an autoimmune disorder. We lump you into here. Here's your path with culinary medicine.
Well, what it could be is, okay, you have this, so maybe you need more of an anti-inflammatory diet, which the Mediterranean diet is kind of built in to be anti-inflammatory. And so diet's a loaded term, right? Diet can mean I'm restricting myself, or I'm only allowed to eat
That's why it has the word die in it, right?
Food. Yeah. But then and so what I say about the Galveston diet or the Mediterranean diet, I say, or your lifestyle.
Yes.
So that term is, it's a need to be clarified depending on the situation.
Right.
And you mentioned, I love this. I have a almost 27-year-old daughter. I think she'll be okay with me telling this to the world. She is preparing, it's kind of the new thing from what I understand, because I wasn't doing it at 27, to prepare your body as you are, she and her husband are considering starting a family. I'm saying it very gently.
You're like, oh my gosh, am I going
But so
that's just natural progression, right?
Something like this. So as she's done some blood work, she has Hashimoto's. That is, as I understand it, you're the physician. I certainly am the furthest thing from a physician, but her practitioner that she's working with, they are working on her gut health, which would be, this lifestyle. It eliminates gluten. It eliminates dairy, things of that sort. So this is how what you're doing, as I understand it, this culinary medicine piece, with helping her heal her gut as she is preparing just her body to not only mentally and emotionally, but then to physically be just optimal as she's carrying.
Yeah, and it's like interesting because each person is different, and I could talk about this for so many days and years.
I love it.
So the main thing is sometimes we say, oh, this is happening, so say we're going to cut out gluten, which might be perfect for your daughter, and it's under guidance of a physician, or maybe she has a dietitian, etc. But not everyone should, right?
Yes.
So then we take stuff out of our gut biome, and then background. Our gut biome is made up of trillions of bacteria, which is about the same amount of cells that we have in our body as a whole. And so the bacteria, when you start to understand, there's these little pieces of you that need to be fed and that need to be taken care of, and they can be destroyed for certain medicines and certain diets and toxins, etc. But that we need to feed them. So saying I'm going to eat healthy and having maybe food that comes from artificial things or powders only, right? Isn't great. So then we say, well, we have to understand why this is important and how it works, because otherwise it doesn't make sense, right? To say, well, why can she have that, but I can't? Why am I sensitive? So sometimes what happens is we take something out of our diet, which may be healthy for us, and we need a lot of different things, which I will cover briefly too. But then we reintroduce it and we start getting like gassy, or we start getting symptoms, and we're like, nope, I'm allergic to that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you're not allergic. It's just that your body needs to be reintroduced. But maybe someone else is allergic and they absolutely cannot have it. Or maybe someone shouldn't have it, etc. So one of the most interesting things that I learned recently, and kind of through all of this, specifically from the program, is like what makes a healthy diet a healthy diet. So with a Mediterranean diet, which we all hear, and that's not the one all be all,
right?
But it's based off of 9 different categories. And so it's also linked with the blue zones, how these people are living, you know, and that's a whole other topic too.
Yes, right.
But part of the reason why they're so healthy, and this is not about weight loss, this is not about being skinny, it's about being healthy. And this is why, because with the Mediterranean diet, there's 9 categories. And so each category is kind of based off of like, okay, this category is, say, fruits. And so they take what your serving should be over a week on average and say, well, if this is your serving for the week, this is about what you should have for a day. And then you get a point. So on a point system for adults, because children are different, you get one point for each category that you hit that week. So there's 9 points as a perfect score. So with the American diet, it's 0, right? So it's like, I didn't get that much, or I didn't get it at all, etc. So if, say, when you add up your points, like, okay, I'm getting all my protein from these sources, I'm getting dairy, whatever it is, but I'm not getting these things. If you start with a score of 5, and you introduce some of these categories within reason and making sure it's safe for you, and you go to a 7, your all-cause score of mortality, which is what can kill you, drops by 25 to 30%.
Oh my gosh.
Like, are you kidding me? You get in 2 extra servings.
Wow.
You're thinking
of what you didn't ever get before. Not that you're adding on.
Right.
But you're either making room for it, or you're introducing it, and maybe you're cutting back a little on what you don't want. So that's what culinary medicine is. It's like, let's help you figure out how to do this.
Okay.
And give you the tools to do it, and give you the education, and like prevent, because there was this really good quote that's like, someone said, I'm not afraid to die. And then someone else said, but it's how it's going to happen. That's the main question. We don't know. So like, why don't we optimize our health and not suffer at the hand of a disease that maybe could have been prevented?
Right. I love optimize our health.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I've noticed as we have adult kids. So my husband even said the other day, we don't eat fruit like we used to. I mean, we used to eat a ton of fruit when we had kids around, and we just don't anymore. I mean, and I love berries, but it's been a while
You don't
since we've
regularly
had.
buy. She was saying that just now. I was thinking the same thing. Like, when's the last time I had a bowl of fruit?
Yeah.
Of fresh fruit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then knowing what fruit is and how you can eat it where it's still healthy versus fruit juice, you know, and then saying, oh, maybe I do like this, or I might not like that fruit, but I do like this one, and getting the variety. Because again, there's trillions of bacteria.
Exactly. Yeah, so is everything, Rachel, is everything individualized? Somebody that would come to you for this, is the program individualized, or is it, we're going to follow this in the point system and everyone?
I don't even know yet.
Like, I don't know yet.
I
love this.
I'm guessing that, I don't know. I think it's going to land somewhere. But where I see this fitting into my practice now is for the population that I already take care of to come to me when they're ready, and we can talk about how to optimize what they want to do. Because again, people don't want that advice if they're not ready to hear it.
And
that's not
powerful.
to say that we still have room for medicine. We still have room for labs. That is very important. But not everyone needs the same thing.
How many people do you think are in this program? I'm sure you've met people that are in it. Are you seeing?
Yeah. So it's growing and growing by the numbers.
Good.
Like, this has been around for several years, but this company or the program, it's not a company. It's a program. They need like bigger space. It's just growing.
That is awesome.
Exponentially. So definitely. And really it's kind of designed as a group setting too, where it'd make more sense for me to get a group of people, 12 to 15 and make an appointment as a group and then go over things, because there's a lot of common messages that instead of saying it 12 different times, I could say it once and then meet that person in their individual journey after that. So that's where I kind of see it going.
Well,
Sure.
Molly and I are so passionate about communities, in-person communities, building community. Of course you can do it online, but we are in an epidemic of loneliness. And so I just hearing you say that, I am like nothing as not that it can be men, but maybe women is who you focus on more. But so a group of women who are coming together with you for this optimization and this, that's brilliant. It's what we're looking for. It is absolutely what we're looking for.
Even like what you said, Amy, with the way women are getting ready for pregnancy, which is not like what we did back in the day, but
just go off the birth control pill.
I mean, that was it. Yes. And I remember we have a picture of drinking Diet Coke and pregnant and things like, just no one knew anything. I think the only thing we heard at those times is don't eat sandwich meat because of something. That was it back in those days. But now with this new generation, everyone is really taking their health seriously. So I could see even like before women get pregnant, like, okay, I have a group of these women and then the ones that are, and I would think it'd be super fun.
And that's already being done. So to touch on the community, culinary medicine makes it a point. Food is social, right?
Yes.
So if you can influence one person, then you're likely going to influence the household. You're likely going to influence their social network, their friends, their family outside of the house. And then that is going to be so impactful. And I believe it's UC Davis, but somewhere in California, because when I went to the culinary medicine conference last year, there is already a program being piloted, and they got funds to test out X amount of couples that were getting ready for pregnancy, and they did lab work, and then they did a combination of like cooking classes, stress reduction, exercise, and then they followed them up, and it was incredible how people like improved their health, but it's the whole package, right? Like your mental, your physical, your everything.
Which now we're realizing, right? I'm sure you've seen medicine change dramatically over the last.
And the gut biome also influences our mood. So it's like it truly does matter what you put into your body. And it's just knowing more that.
Could you go there with, I think that's so important, is that it does impact, how does the brain and the gut and the brain, could you just go a little, because it's so intriguing to me how it impacts one another.
Yeah. So I won't go into the biochemistry of it, but the
Get out your
bacteria
notebooks.
actually, if they're fed correctly, and most of us are doing a good enough job, right? And just also side note, just because you are depressed or because you have a disease doesn't mean you're doing something wrong, but maybe we could all be doing something better.
Yes.
So
that's powerful.
It's sending your gut biome, all of our body is sending hormonal and chemical signals all throughout our body all the time. And so when things are in balance and things are fed right, it's like a plant that is fed and has sunlight, it grows better. So it just communicates better. Things are in balance. We don't have too much, too little. And so when everything is in working order, I mean, if you pick out one of those trillion bacteria, there's studies done on several of them. It's unbelievable the job that they have. And it's whether it sends out like a chemical that helps our mood, or it sends out something that regulates how we use our fats and how it turns bad fats into good fats. I mean, it's incredible what these one little teeny tiny things can do. So if you multiply that by millions, trillions, then it adds up. So it's just kind of this evolving thing. They're like, oh, there's a correlation with older people who have Alzheimer's or dementia. Almost all of them have GI issues.
Wow. Wow.
So I think we've always thought about it as you have the disease and you have a symptom, but it's like, wow, like actually what do we all have in common here is we're constipated or have some kind of GI issue with this condition. And again, I mean, there's a lot, and it's hard to navigate. Like I have an app that tells me how healthy really a food is, because we have to battle the brand names or the brand itself. We have to battle the advertisements and the additives and preservatives.
Okay, the app. Maybe that keep the ideas rolling here, right?
Yeah, so it's the Yuka app, Yuka, and it's a scale of 0 to 100, and it's a good thing for the household, because even my kids are like bargaining with me on the number. But I look at it and I'm like, I would rather buy something that has more sodium, because then I know I should cut back on the rest of the sodium that day, than something that has 12 additives, 10 are which high risk, and X amount that are moderate risk, and some that are risk free. But like when you really look at that and you're like, what am I putting into my body?
Yes.
Right.
So like, help me navigate how to eat healthy. But it's also not a thing of like, you have to suffer and eat healthy. This whole thing is, let's make our food taste good, make our own salad dressing so you have it on hand, because salad dressings can be unhealthy. And the other aspect of this program is it targets culinary people. So there's a more like chef-driven course to this program, and there's a medical course. So restaurants are. So it's not like stay at home and eat healthy.
Nice.
It's like you can go out, and this is how you choose your food.
That is
or if you
awesome.
stay in, like
Incredible. This
this is how you can take care of yourself in your own kitchen.
Oh, this is going to be amazing. And we know people are going to be lined up. I mean, once you have this done, but I love that you also are totally dependent on faith. You're like, I have no idea what it's going to look like. I just had this strong intuitive hit, and I'm going to do this. I made a decision to invest in myself, right? You had no idea where it was going to land, and you're already busy enough and successful enough, clearly doing what you're doing. So I love that you're like, no, but I've got this feeling,
this knowing. This is what we talk about. And I think especially for women, we take care of everybody else. We kind of squelch our intuition. We will fight for our children, and but sometimes we don't. When we have this dream or this something that's been placed on our hearts, that you're like, oh, this is amazing. I don't know how I can make an impact as with it, but God has given you this dream on your heart. And that is what Molly and I are so passionate about, is women supporting other women as these downloads from God, or these intuitive opportunities come. And like, I don't know how it's going to be done, but guess what? As believers, we serve a God that knows, the how, but also that is why we need to lock arms with other women. And that's why we're so passionate about our communities that we're forming, all over the world. But especially, we have a killer female community in Omaha that are doing such incredible things.
Absolutely.
And I mean, right here, just incredible things. And thank you. I'm just going to say thank you for following that, knowing like, oh my goodness, like I need to do something with this. And I'm already working 80 hours a week, and I'm, parenting young adults or, young children. And I don't, have a lot of hours in the day, but there's a dream that's been placed on my heart, because I know I can impact and leave others better than I found them in a completely different way than maybe you do, have in the past.
I love that you said that, because that's part of my kids and I prayer at night. It's like, help me make people and places better than I found them.
Oh, I love
we end
that.
it. And I'm like, yes, that's, even if it's one person can do a lot. So it's not about, me individually. It's just like, use me and my skills, but
yeah.
And then to have the support of like amazing women. And I just met you, Molly, like not that long ago.
I know.
And I'm like, wow, and then I get to meet you. Like, oh my gosh. It's a blessing.
But like I always say, great people know great people. And so here we find each other. And something we always love to ask every guest, Rachel, is our podcast is called Meet Me in the Penthouse. And we talk about penthouse frequency. But when we say meet me in the penthouse, what does the word penthouse, what does it mean to you? What kind of comes up in your brain when you hear that?
The word penthouse? I don't know. The first thing that comes to mind is like, I have this opportunity to go to this place and make it whatever I want. Because at the end of the day, stuff happens and it's not what we look like, or it's not how we think it was going to look like or happen. And maybe walking up the stairs to the penthouse, you're like, am I going to like this? Am I not? But then you get there and you're like, I'm going to make the most of this. I don't know what it looks like because every hotel, right, has a penthouse or a condo.
Yes.
And you don't know what it looks like. It sounds fancy, so maybe your expectations are higher, maybe they're not. But either way, you're just like, this is going to be great because why not?
Yes. Oh,
I love that.
Amazing. Thank you.
I know. And really, that is your journey, right?
Yes.
With this. Yeah. So we're excited. You'll have to follow along. And in our show notes, we will always include how to find Rachel. She, believe it or not, practices here in Omaha, Nebraska, and how you could see her as a patient, but also culinary medicine. Follow along with her as this journey expands and grows. And when it's complete, we'll definitely have her back. So wherever you listen, please, for those of you that know that this is important to, I would say women, share this episode with people wherever you listen, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Spotify, Apple, but this deserves to be in women's hands. And now you know why I was so excited when I found her so many months ago.
Besides the incredible name, like it's a really great name. I have to say.
I know.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, being a swimmer, I'm like, well, I won't forget that name.
Rachel
so I'm like,
I know.
love
that's
it.
kind of a cool name.
And I do. Yeah, it is.
Put a doctor ahead of it, and then it's really like,
it is.
Wow.
It is. And she is just as cool as she sounds. So you'll definitely want to follow along on her journey. And we're just so grateful you joined us. So thanks again for joining us for another great episode. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Meet Me in the Penthouse. And we would love to have you follow us at www.sistersnextdoor.com.
Anywhere that you listen to your podcast, please feel free to give us 5 stars because we know you're going to find us fabulous, and pass this along to any friends that you know would enjoy this episode.